Now you notice when the strings come out, you'll see a little knob on the end like this, little round piece. That's how they keep the wind all together, and it's also the way you keep the guitar string stuck in there at the base, because if you didn't have this ball, it wouldn't have anything to grip against, and the string would come right out. So what you do is you stick the string right in. For the large string, this is the 6th string, it will go on, obviously, the 6th low E area. You take the peg, stick the peg back in like this, and just push it down nice and firmly. Now, what I do is I don't actually string them first. I put all of the strings in before I put them up at the top on the head, because, well, I'll show you in just a minute. Okay, and one of the last things you can do to secure the pegs in their holes is to use something that I would normally not recommend you use at all, but in this case it's okay. It's a rubber mallet, and as long as you're hitting it right on the pegs, that's okay. Gently, oh so gently. Don't let other guitar lovers see you do this. Alright, there are a couple of things you need to know about stringing the strings through up on the head. First thing is, when you're bringing the strings up, it needs to come in on the inside and wrap around to the outside like this in a counterclockwise fashion when dealing with all of the lower strings on the left-hand side. Then it needs to swing around clockwise on the higher strings. So let's start with this one. Let's start with the low E string right here. When you're doing this, and like I said, that was the first principle. When you're doing this, what you want to do is wrap around one time on the low thick string, because they're very hard. It's very hard to manage. So wrap it around once, and then take the string, put it right through the hole on top of the string coil that you just wrapped, so that the rest of the coil is trapped behind the one that you just put through the hole. Okay, I'll get this through here like that. Oops. There you go. And you can pull it nice and tight, and you're not going to get very far on this one. It's a little hard to manage. But, well, alright, we'll just start with there. And notice to see this nut came out way up. Yeah, you can see it from there. Turn down just a little bit more. The nut came out quite a ways, so all you need to do is slide it back in. When you put the other string in, and this is the way I recommend you do it, start with this one, then do the opposite side. Start with the low E, then do the high E, because they will balance each other out and keep the nut from sliding one way or the other. Okay? Now, this is where the nifty little peg winder comes in, and this thing is great. All you need to do is attach this on, and what you need to do is pinch this against the head of the guitar, because if you don't, it will cause a lot of problems in its winding. So all you need to do is start winding and just pinch down. This thing's going to flap around a couple of times on you here. Keep it down like that. Okay, and when it gets tighter to this degree, then you want to make sure that everything else is lined up down here on the nut. Okay, on the bottom saddle, make sure that the string is lined up down there as well. And keep turning this until you feel a lot of tension and it's getting closer to hitting a real pitch. But we're not going to get it too tight, so let's move over to the next one, the high E, and let's do that one to counter the pulling on the nut. Okay, this one will be much easier to manage. All you need to do is wrap this one around, and you can do this one pretty tight without the aid of anything else. Do that pretty tight. Get that maybe 1 or 2 wraps around there. Probably 2, and then pull or thread the string through like that. And that's all you need to do on that one. And the same thing when you start tightening the pegs. Push down with your thumb or your finger and push the string against it. Now the reason we're doing that is because it pulls the tension of the string, pulls the head of the guitar up this way toward you, and that will create that will alleviate other problems with tuning and tension later on. So when you get that pretty tight, oops, got the other strings there. All right. Now those are in line. You don't have to have those in tune at all until later. So when those are tight enough to keep this snugly in place, you just start working on the rest of them. Same process as before. Okay, after you have all the strings on, go ahead and clip them. Don't clip them until you've made sure that everything's in order and all the strings go in the grooves, the appropriate grooves, on both the nut and the saddle down below. But when you cut them, go ahead and get in pretty close, not terribly, not like touching it, but very close, and go ahead and clip them. Now, be careful, these are very, very, very sharp, and they will, if you hit them hard, they will cut you, and they'll probably cut you wide open, so be very careful. Sometimes some people take little files and sand those down, but that's a lot of work to do for not necessarily a safe outcome. Go ahead and clip them just like this. For tons more information, more free videos, and just free stuff, check out FastGuitarLessons.com. You got to go there. You'll be glad you did.